When the devastating floods came to South Yorkshire back in November, the fire service was in the thick of it, rescuing hundreds of people and responding to thousands of emergency calls. Commanding the major incident was Alex Johnson. From this month, she's taking over as Chief Fire Officer in South Yorkshire, the first woman to lead a Yorkshire brigade.
I'm really pleased with how South Yorkshire responded to the flooding. I think the fact that we declared a major incident quite early, because we could see that, this was likely to become quite serious and stretch our resources.
Alex Johnson has worked her way up to the very top of the ladder, having started as a trainee firefighter in Derbyshire 28 years ago. She's seen a lot of changes and is worried about the impact of cuts to the fire service.
The last thing I want to be doing is having to deal with industrial action because we're making cuts. So part of my role is to lobby government and say fund us fairly. We've already cut our support services as much as we can. The last thing we want to be doing is cutting firefighters' posts.
The new chief says she doesn't want to see any more fire stations close either.
I think the number of fire stations we've got are in just about the right place and the right number. If we lose any more fire stations, then some people are going to be waiting a longer period of time to get a fire engine.
The fire service nationally has been under scrutiny after the Grenfell tower disaster, in which 72 people died. London's Chief Fire Officer Danny Cotton took early retirement after criticism following the brigade's advice to residents not to evacuate the building at the time of the fire. She's a friend of Alex Johnson. I
feel extremely sad for Danny. When you're the top of the organisation, somebody has to, take that responsibility. That would have been my responsibility had it been South Yorkshire. She's been left in an impossible situation. The Grenfell inquiry, they've looked at the fire service response before they've looked at the actual cause of why that building behaved the way it did. It was a terrible situation and a terrible night for them to have to make those sorts of decisions.
Alex Johnson is no doubt something of a role model to other female firefighters across Yorkshire and knows she has a tough job balancing a budget of £52 million a year.
I'm exceptionally proud and really quite humbled to be leading, this organisation, and I'm going to do, the very best I can for it because I'm really proud of it.
Ian White, BBC Look North, Sheffield.